It's all good. Hey, what's up, everybody? Nick Kuzmich here. We are live. Something happened where it looks like somebody deleted my post. So I'm hoping that this is broadcasting. We're just going to give it a couple seconds for people to join us. And as we're doing that, I'm actually just going to post this link so that people know what's going on, because it looks like we may have missed a few things. By the way, if you can and see me and or hear me, please go ahead and just comment in the questions or thing box below, just so I know, because it looks like we had to open up a new page here. So if you're here, just go ahead, comment in the comment box below. Let me know. I can see you. I can hear you. All is well. And that would be good. And that way I can make sure that we're all here and I can buy some time. All right.
Nice.
Looks like we're getting some people coming through loud and clear. Hello. Yes. Awesome. Okay. All right. Rick says loud and clear. Where are we going here?
Ooh, we got a good group. Laura, Tyler, Robert, Anthony.
Boom, boom. Looking good. Sounding good. Sweet. Thank God. Because I don't know what just happened here, folks, but something happened and our original post got deleted. So we had to reboot this and put up a new one, but it looks like people are coming here. Rick says he's here for the free popcorn. I don't got any popcorn. David says, sound good, looking good. Sweet. Anthony says, yes, loud and clear. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So it looks like we got everybody here. First and foremost, let me just apologize because it looks like the original post got deleted. As a result, we hit Let's Go Live. And as we did hit Go Live, BeLive said, hey, your post is deleted. And so we can't run anything through. But we're here. Tim, how are you, brother? Everything good in your neck of the woods?
Oh, I'm so good, mate. I just came back from Mexico last week. I knew no Spanish, and I survived.
Nice. Whereabouts in Mexico?
I went to Mexico City and also Puerto Escondido.
Oh, wow.
I always get that last pronunciation mixed up. I say Dito, and my friend's like, it's Dito. And I'm like really enunciating every single word now.
Yeah, well, you could do that better than I can. So I'm glad you had a good time. Also, Amanda saying that BeLive has gotten royally glitchy lately. Yeah, apparently so. But I'm going to trust that it's going to carry us through. So here's what we're going to do, like we do all the time, everybody. If you're here with us live, thanks for being with us live. Really, I believe that information is good, but access is even better. And so the goal here is not just for you to get great information. The goal here is for you to get access to the best of the best, the people who are moving and shaking and making great things happen in the industry. In particular topic matters. I was fortunate enough to be introduced to Tim from a good mutual friend of ours, and then we realized we have a whole bunch of other good mutual friends. Tim, if I'm not mistaken, one of the roles you play amongst many of the things that you do is like the community manager at Bot Academy. Is that correct?
That's one of my hats, yes.
Yeah, amongst many. In fact, while we're on that topic, why don't you just kind of give a brief higher level overview so everyone gets a sense of what you do, who you are, and maybe why we're having this conversation.
Oh, definitely. So I have no real title about Academy. It's very ironic because the more like hats you put on, like the more titles you don't have. Right. But I consider myself like the head of education. So Andrew Warner and I, he's the founder of Mixergy, who I work closely with. We do everything from designing the curriculum for Bot Academies. We teach the curriculum and we help all our students go through the curriculum and succeed and get clients and building chatbots for their businesses and help marketing. And after that cycle, we also get clients to hire our students. So I'm involved with like every single step of the process. And my job is like, if the student succeeds, then I succeed. And if they don't, then I don't. So that is like my role at Bot Academy. And how basically I got into it was when Andrew Warner, he's the founder of Mixergy, and Mixergy, for context, is a very popular entrepreneurship podcast. Been going on for about 10 years or so, interviewing the founders of LinkedIn, Airbnb, and many other amazing companies. Right. And Andrew invested in a chatbot company called Assist back in April of 2015. And this is when no one even knew about chatbots. Like, this is by far the first venture-backed bot company. And he saw that because he's been interviewing entrepreneurs for so long and been in the game for so long. And he saw this and he told me to play around with chatbots because I was working at Mixergy. And I'm like, dude, Andrew, this is stupid. Like,
this is back in 2015, you said.
Well, he saw it back in 2015, but he told me about it like a little bit later, as he started playing around with it and as he started making chatbots. And I thought, Andrew, let's stick with email. Let's stick with Facebook. Let's stick with what's working. Or why play with these shiny objects? Like, that's the one rule that I learned to follow in marketing. And the more I played around with it, the more he pushed me on it. The more like, wow, this could actually work. And we started building chatbots for ourselves, for our clients, and it actually got results. And we're like, this is amazing. We have to like show this to everyone. And that was when, and keep in mind, Andrew can start any business he wants. He has all the connections. He has like all the time and money and stuff. And he wanted to start Bot Academy because he believed in this future space so much. And it's kind of mind blowing for the last year or so of building chatbots for clients and teaching people how to do it.
Right. So why don't we start with like a little bit of a higher level overview of like the state of bots. Actually, I'm hearing a bit of an echo. Can you hear that, or is that just me?
I don't hear anything. Maybe
maybe we're good. Yeah, okay. No, we should be okay. Yeah. So on that note, like, so the state of affairs usually, especially in like Facebook world, is anytime someone releases anything new, like when lead ads first came out or when whatever it first came out, like everyone was really all over it, and then it kind of settled down and things got all over the place. And Seth Godin says, marketers ruin everything, which I think there's some truth to that. Tell us, like, from your practical opinion, where we stand today, what is like the 30,000 foot view of bots today? Like what's your take on where we're at? What's your take on where it's going? And what are some of the kind of the higher level things that people need to pay attention to a little bit?
Definitely. Right now in this bot space, we're in the very, very early stages. Some people, especially in our world, like the marketing world, has already caught on to chatbots and started using it, but no one really knows what they're doing. And we're such a small minority out of the whole business population. So it's just getting started, and people are just finally understand like how to do it right, how to sell within the Facebook terms of service, how to work with Facebook, how to deal with users, and so on. So people are just starting this learning curve. And the reason why bots get a lot of bad reps, especially today, is people don't know how to do it right. People are posting like essays in Messenger. People are spamming. People are selling that violates the terms of service, which they get banned. And then they say, oh, bots are stupid. I'm like, maybe if you understand how to do it right, then it will be more effective for you. There are select folks who are doing it right and are making sales from it, which is fantastic. So we're very much in the early stages. No one really knows what they're doing yet. The platform creators are still evolving. Messenger is still working with all these platform creators to better their platform. So we're in the very early stages, and I'm very confident that much later, in a couple years or so, this will be the new form of marketing. Like this would be like the next email. If you want to play with analogies, and I'm really excited for that space, because when we do it right and when we tackle this platform in the intelligent way, we're able to like generate real sales and build real relationships with our customers. Yeah, I really love that. In fact, the man is like very true. No one really knows what they're doing, but it's fun learning it, which I think is true, of course. So let's kind of, before we kind of open it up to everybody, let's talk about that. Like, you mentioned a couple things. You mentioned that there's a lot of people who are doing things wrong. As a result, they're getting banned. They're writing essays, or they're selling, or they're doing certain things on bots. And then on the other hand, there's a handful of people who are doing things well, and it's becoming a very like relevant sales channel for certain businesses. So let's tackle one of those at a time. Let's start with like, what are if you were to, name the top 3 or 5 or however many you want, it doesn't even matter. But like, what are the don't do's that you see people are doing on bots right now from a higher level perspective that like each of us just really and frankly need to avoid? Oh, definitely. I'll start with the 2 that I just mentioned. One, selling within the Facebook terms of service. You can only sell to someone who's interacted with your chatbot within 24 hours. And if you ever want to sell anything promotional afterwards, you have one follow-up message that you can send to them after the 24-hour window. But after that one message, then you can't sell to them anymore. And people. So
you have a 24-hour window to actually like send someone to a sales page or something like that to create a purchase type thing.
Exactly. And there's ways to get around it if you want to sell at any time you want. And we can get into that later on if you want to go like deep into tactics. Sure. But that is like the biggest thing is like, you have to sell within the terms of service. The next thing is copywriting. So copywriting on email is 100% different from copywriting on Messenger. Right. On email, you're encouraged to share really long stories, that 1,000 words to, or however long it is, in order for people to be engaged and see the whole email. But with Messenger, you have to think about it at like me messaging you, Nick, and saying like, how would I talk to you normally? And the bot should embody that same cadence, or that same interaction. The last one I would say is spamming. So you don't, just because you could send people a message every day doesn't mean you should. We actually talked to the founders of ManyChat, which is one of the largest chatbot platforms out there, and they told us that the best cadence is usually 1 to 3 times a week. And anything more than that actually increases unsubscribe rates so much. So
actually, that's a great writer downer, because there was a guy in our group, Ian, who was like mimicking on the bot what was happening in email, where there was a message going out daily. And as a result, he saw that his open rates and click rates drastically plummeted with each message that went out. So I like that. He said 1 to 3 times a week is a great cadence to be sending out messages, huh? Yeah,
definitely. And I guess the last thing I would say is very similar to email. You want people to have a reason to open up your messages. So people think, oh, like I don't have product market fit. Let's use a chatbot. A chatbot won't solve your problem. You have to figure out like what value you can bring to your audience, and a chatbot can help with that, with the communication aspect, but it won't solve like if you have no customers or no audience.
Love that. So we should see the chatbot as an enhancement to an already great experience rather than to try to fix a broken experience.
Exactly.
Got it. So let's kind of turn the tables a little bit then, and then we'll just jump right into questions and tactics. So what are besides the opposite of what not to do, right? So don't sell outside the 24-hour window, have intelligent, shorter responses like you would connect to a real person, and manage your cadence properly. What would you say are like great applications, let's call it, of chatbots? Is it great applications to use as an opt-in? Is it great to push content mid or top funnel or bottom of funnel? Like, what have you seen? Maybe 2 or 3 things are like great applications of utilizing a bot in a sales process.
Good question. The number one I see for top of funnel is using the comment to messenger tool. It happens where when you comment on a Facebook post, that Facebook page can send you a message via Messenger. Right. And it usually says comment below for this. I'm not sure if any of you guys noticed, but Facebook has moved away from like people saying like and share this post. It's more like comment below, so the algorithm gets up, or like you can send them a message. And that has been really great for top of funnel.
So on that note, because that was actually something that came up. I mean, obviously incentivizing a like or a share is a no-no, but a comment is okay from what you've seen.
Well, a comment for this reason. Back then for Facebook, like 3-4 years ago, it was opposite. It was like different.
Right.
So we're always evolving, right? And that has been really great for top of funnel. And just a combo with that is if you want to do a live video with that same feature, it can definitely work. So the whole hour long, anytime someone comments a certain word, you can get them that certain PDF or bonus or whatever you send them.
Oh, beautiful. In the middle of a live.
In the middle of a live video. So you can literally say like, comment below. I've seen people even have like a little text bubble at the very bottom saying like, hey, comment below for this. So imagine having that on the whole time where thousands of people are watching you. So that is, and most people don't stay on Facebook Live for a long time. So if you can get them to opt in, then you can have them as a subscriber. So that's really good for top of funnel.
Yeah.
For the bottom of the funnel, we really like seeing, or what I've seen work well is messenger ads. So this is usually for like when you're on a Facebook page or Facebook newsfeed, you're kind of going through and you see an ad for something you clicked on like a while ago, like they retargeted you. Right. And when you click send message, that usually is a chance for you to ask questions. And in ManyChat or in whatever chatbot software you use, there's a feature where you can, whenever someone asks you a question, you can notify your admins, so notify your team or your customer service rep to go in there and talk to them right away. Because people are just like one step away from purchasing. And if you can just be there at the right time, right place, that is like a perfect time to boom, help
like
them
push them over the fence.
Yeah, push them over.
Yeah, you know what? I love that. In fact, Amanda says here, is that showing? Can you see the thing on the screen or not?
I can, but I click the see all on the very left and I see some of the comments.
Oh, weird. Oh, I'm trying to show these. Man, Amanda, you're right. Be Live is a little buggy today, which is kind of bothersome here. So I want to open it up to questions. Ashley says, love that. Can you see what I'm putting on the screen here? Can anybody see what I'm putting on the screen here?
I can't see what you put on the screen, but I can see the comments on the very left side.
As I stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna bother me a little bit, but we'll see how we go with this. Okay, so there's a ton of questions I have, obviously, and there's a lot of things that I can kind of jump in, but I want to just kind of open it up to our council here. This is what the bulk of it is. This is your opportunity to really dive in and ask the questions that you really want to know. So let's go ahead. Okay, so everyone's saying, yeah, we can see the comments on the screen. Excellent. I can't, but you can, so that's good. So let's start with this. David is asking, more often I say an annoying automated response that doesn't answer a question. Your idea is much better of alerting admins a question. I think that's more of a comment than anything. You're right. A lot of people use like automated bots to like function as customer service or whatever, and they're not getting a real human response. And as a result, most people are annoyed by that. But to notify an admin and have a real human being jump in, that is legend, actually. So I really like that. So does David.
I'll add one comment on that. One pro tip you want to use when you want to use chatbots is when you send a broadcast to like 2,000 people, for example, I highly recommend being on live chat right when the broadcast sends out to answer the first like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of people. And you'd be so surprised of how mind blown they are. Like, what? A real person is talking to me through this chatbot? This is incredible. And you're actually, what better way to talk to your customers than through like just texting them? Right. And you can learn so much. So that's one great point, tip, David, if you want to like really be there to talk to them.
That's a great point. Amanda saying, yes, I found that using the comment trigger on Facebook Lives to be great. That's awesome. Amanda has this question, and I think it's probably a question that a lot of people are wondering, saying, yes, I'm curious to know how to safely navigate around the 24-hour sales rule. You said you have some tactics around that. Anything that you're able to share on that?
Oh, yes. There's one tactic that we use that we confirmed with both the founders of ManyChat and Chatfuel, and they even told us like how great of this tactic it is. We don't publish it anywhere except in our private course, but I'm happy to share the secrets here.
Love that.
So technically, the rule for Facebook is you cannot buy or you cannot send any promotional items within the 24-hour window.
Right.
Which means that they have to interact with your chatbot within 24 hours.
Right.
So what you do is you send them a broadcast that's a filter question, a sales filter, saying something like, hey, are you interested in my book Give, right? And instead of them clicking yes and it leads to a sales page, they click yes. And that indicates that they interact with the chatbot. Once they click yes, then you can send them another message saying, all right, I'm so glad you're interested. Click the button below to buy my book Give.
So it essentially buys you an additional 24 hours every time someone initiates a response to one of your questions.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So if you go straight to the sales page, it's a no-no. But if you get them to interact with you and basically asking them for consent, then you can send and sell. So that's like a little hack that most people have no idea about. Only Bot Academy paid students know, and now your community knows.
And I love that because a lot of people are like, oh man, if I have to have them one extra step, I'm going to lose conversions. Frankly, if you're losing conversions, it means the initial question that you're asking or that they're actually not interested in what you have to offer anyways. Like I love the idea of just saying, hey, are you interested? And if they say yes, you have that option to like further market to them. So that's actually on that note. I know there's a lot of questions. You mentioned ManyChat, obviously, the 800-pound gorilla. You mentioned Chatfuel. I know there's a bunch of bot platforms out there. I know you have your favorites. Are there any that you say are must uses? Are there any you're like avoid at all costs, or do you just say, hey, everyone getting started with this, like this is the thing you should just start using and ignore the rest?
Sure. I highly recommend Chatfuel and ManyChat. I personally have not tested all the different softwares because that's like it's going to be a lot of time. But the ones that are reputable that we've seen is Octane.ai. They're really good for like Shopify stores, if I remember correctly.
Oh, interesting.
And then our buddy Ethan and John Lee Dumas, actually, I think they're starting up a platform called Opesta, where it's like really great for sending messages based on a lot of the data that you collect from your customers who visit your website and your email. So to be honest, we're platform agnostic.
Yeah.
We try to be at least. But the whole point of messenger marketing is that you get the concepts right and the fundamentals right. And no matter what platform you use, because both will have their pros and cons,
Right.
you'll still get everything like within the terms of service and sell effectively.
Love that. Love that. And on that note, actually, one other question that we were kind of discussing just before we went live was this idea that a couple of people are freaking out about, Facebook's new privacy issues and, with all that's happening. And, from the ad side, they're removing partner categories as a targeting thing. And for chat, even ManyChat sent out an email, I guess it was last week, saying, hey, you can't create any new bots or automations or whatever. What's your take on that? I mean, obviously some people are freaking out, which I like, but I mean, what's your take on the fact that right now kind of bots are paused in general?
Yeah. And just to give context, right now Facebook has banned the use of any new bots to be created, for an undetermined amount of time. We're estimating about a week or two, more. And we think we theorize it's because Facebook is getting a lot of bad press lately because of security, because of data breaches, and so on, which is actually very skewed. The media likes to like blow it up.
Oh, Tam.
Oh, there you are. Boom.
There you go. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they blow it up. And we think that they pause bots temporarily because they want to show everyone like, hey, we're taking action. We're like, we want to make sure everything's good, and to be safe. But everyone's freaking out. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, like bots are going to be gone. Feature's over. The worst case scenario, when in reality, that's not the case. Messenger is growing. It used to be 1 billion monthly active users a month when we started. Now it's like 1.3 billion and growing. Like Messengers, they actually hired more people to be on the Messenger team to work with businesses to monetize and to make this Messenger like a business platform.
Right.
And we're connected with the founders of a lot of chatbot companies, a lot of platforms using Messenger who work directly with the Messenger team. And they told us like, yeah, this is just a blip in the road.
Right.
Don't even worry about it. This space is going to grow even bigger. And everyone running right now will miss out on the opportunities that will come as the space evolves and develops. So if you believe that Messenger is going to disappear, you should probably not get the chatbots. But if you believe that Facebook and Messenger is like here to stay for a while, then you should definitely like not take this too seriously.
Right. And that was a good time. Katya says, Tam! I guess you guys know each other.
Hello. I don't see the comments like you do, but I'm just trying to look.
So I'll read them for you again because I think both of us can't see them, but I think everybody else can see them. So I think we're okay there. I'll just read them for you.
Nice.
So Tyler's asking, what do you find is the best first interaction people can have with a bot to be faithful readers of automated messages? So I guess the situation here is people are realizing that not every message that comes through a bot is a human being. Obviously, it's automated. So is there something that you find is the best first interaction in order for people to be like, oh, yeah, well, I know it's automated, but I'm going to be faithful in getting the messages and interacting with those messages?
Yeah, really great question, Tyler, because most people don't care about the first interaction and the users, they just care about like just selling, which is a really fantastic question. There's two main things. One, you want to not pretend that you are a bot or like you are a human. You want to say very clearly like, hey, we are a chatbot. Sometimes our team responds on here, but sometimes like it's mostly automated. So be very clear and upfront, and people appreciate the honesty.
Right.
And the second point is to set clear expectations. When they get into a chatbot, they're very new to chatbots themselves. So when you can say like, hey, every week I'm going to send you a new tip on Facebook ads or whatever. I'm looking at your GIF behind you.
Right.
So I'm just like, oh,
lost you for a sec. Gotta be live. Let's just give that a second, everybody. I don't even know if you can see or hear me or if I'm frozen or if just Tam's frozen. Let me see. Am I frozen too, everybody? Can everyone see me? Let's just see. I'm going to post this question. Am I frozen or is everybody frozen? That is the question. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that, Tam.
Oh, no problem. So I'm glad we're back.
Yeah, it just said people could see and hear me fine, but we lost you for a second. There was a weird connection.
No.
So yeah, but if that ever happens, what we've tested is just do a refresh of the browser, and then usually you're right back in there.
Just blame BeLive.
I'm blaming BeLive for everything. But so you were saying the first interaction, obviously super important. What I heard up until that point was obviously mentioning that it is in fact a bot, so that no one feels kind of misled in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
Got it. Anything else on that? Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, the second part was setting very clear expectations. So if your bot is helping people with keto, for example, and here's like a new keto recipe, you can say like, "Hey, I'm gonna send you a new keto recipe every 3 days or every week, so you can cook some nice meals for yourself." And being very clear of like what that is, so people can say, "Okay, I'm gonna get this every week," and they're not gonna be crazy or mad, upset if they get a message saying, "Why are you sending another keto recipe?" We said in the very beginning, and it's very clear to set that first off.
Expectations right up front. Got that.
Yeah.
Love that. David's saying, "Wow, that's huge." You got prayer hands of thank you. Amanda's asking, Amanda's asking this. ManyChat, quick responses versus buttons. Have you found one to get more interaction over the other? And what other tactics eliminate barriers to engagement? Oh, we lost you again. Don't know why BeLive is acting all funny, but I think Tam's coming right back. So sorry about that, everyone.
There, can you hear me now?
I can, loud and clear. No, and then frozen. Dun, dun, dun. All right, guys, I'm just direct messaging Cam to see if there's a connection issue or whatnot. Looks like you can see and hear me just fine. I think the only main issue is on that side. But
that's so strange.
We're good now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. I've been hearing you the whole time. That's so strange. I'm at a co-working space, so everything is usually fine.
Yeah, well, I'm going to blame BeLive. And if that ever happens, can you tell when you freeze or no?
I can't tell, but when you say, I can hear you the whole time, so I'm thinking that I'm here.
Gotcha. Okay, so if I ever stop you and I'm like, Tam, we lost you, just know, and whatever you got to do, refresh or whatever. Yeah. But you got that last question from Amanda about quick responses versus buttons? Perfect.
Yeah, buttons for context is the ones that are permanent and are standalone. So even if you click it, the buttons will still be there. Quick replies are the little buttons that are more circular at the very bottom saying, once you click it, then you can't click any of the other quick reply buttons. And the difference is that you should use the buttons for things that you want people to click on for a longer period of time, even after the conversation. So that's stuff like websites. Like you don't want people to click. You actually can't even put a website on the quick reply button because they need like a standalone button for them to click it. So you want to use quick replies for more conversational things and buttons for more, you can still use it for conversational things, but keep in mind that that's the only time you can put websites or connect them to existing messages for all the different features. So those are the two differences. And in terms of like engagement, the one thing I would say is curiosity. The whole point of the messenger is to create curiosity, and each button will lead them down the path of like finding out the answer more and more. And the more you can make it curious, make it about them. Some people love quizzes, for example, like, oh, what type of blank are you? Not the BuzzFeed type quizzes, but like what's your earning potential, for example. Right. And after the quizzes and quick replies, you can see the answer and find that. That's great.
I love that for engagement. David is saying here, let me just post this. I recently got into Opus because it can pixel pages and give specific behavior-based automation. Actually, on that note, like What is your take on platforms' abilities and the ability to like deploy behavior-based automation and like pixels when someone takes a certain action on a page? Is there a certain platform you like better than the other? And is that as important as some may make it out to be?
Sure. Well, Opesta does that really well, and they specialize and they pride themselves in that. I'm actually really good friends with Ethan, well, not really good friends, but friends with Ethan and John, and who started the platform. But to be honest, there are tons of pros and cons for every single platform. Sure. Like, for example, Opesta is brand new and just started. ManyChat and Chatfield, ManyChat's like, ventured back, or Chatfield has more than 50% of all the chatbots on the platform. Wow. So many of them have pros and cons, and there's different layouts and different UI for things. Right. But overall, we shouldn't get too upset. People get obsessed with like what specific platforms and features they have, but really most of their energy should be spent on how can I make this chatbot amazing for our users.
From a strategy standpoint.
Yeah.
Right. Nice. Camille is asking, what is the best way or technique to request people's email addresses? So if someone is trying to double dip in the sense where obviously get them subscribed to the bot, but also build their list that way, have you found certain strategies work better than the others to actually use a bot to request an email address?
Yeah. For people who are new to chatbots, what is a super cool feature that they added in the last couple of months is you can integrate your email software inside Messenger or with your chatbot platform. So when you ask them, hey, what's your email? They can literally type it in Messenger, and Messenger or your chatbot platform can use Zapier to zap it over to your email software.
Nice. And
that's crazy. And the email software can trigger other things to send them a welcome email. So you not only subscribe to them on Messenger, but you can get their email just by them typing and bring it into the software.
That's cool.
Which is like mind blowing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now you truly can double dip and build two platforms at the same time for sure.
Exactly.
Tom is saying the Rolling Stones are now using Facebook chatbots to sell concert tickets. It's well worth engaging with their stuff just to see how they do that. That's interesting.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. You should also look at the Golden State Warriors chatbot. Their chatbot is fantastic.
Interesting. Tim Ferriss gives his bot a name, Tim Bot, and every message he sends is from his bot Tim. That's funny.
Yeah, it's actually Tim Talk.
Oh, is that his bot name?
Yes. He said in the very beginning, this is Tim Talk. It's an experiment. Subscribe for this gift and be along for the ride.
Oh, I love that. That's fun. And actually, what's your take on maybe not gamifying, that's the wrong word, but like adding personality to the process? I mean, on first glance, I hear that and I think that's a brilliant idea because everyone knows it's a bot and they've probably seen a lot of bots around. But when you can kind of like personalize it and make it human or whatever, it seems like people are more interested and willing to connect on that level. What's your kind of take on that?
Yeah, I definitely like making it personalized. So Tim, for example, will say things that only Tim would say. And other folks can't copy Tim because they don't have the context for that. Right. What gets wrong is people pretend that the bot is a human and they don't say that, hey, this is clearly a bot. And that is what people get mad, like what the heck? Like you're talking as if like you're a real person, but
you're clearly not. Right. Right. That's a great point. I think at the end of the day, it's like just being transparent and authentic. I mean, I think that goes across all marketing platforms, but especially bots where people are trying to deceive or hide or whatever. So Camille is asking, one massive drawback that I see when sending people to a landing page via chatbot is that Messenger only opens up the page on their in-app browser. So I'm assuming that decreases conversions. Is there a way to get around this? Tim, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you can definitely test things out. I mean, I'm not sure how much you know about like e-commerce, for example, but there's many times where you send them ads or people open up e-commerce stuff on their mobile, but they actually check out like double times more when they're on desktop. So what does that mean? If you know the information about your specific audience, you know when to target them at what time. So if you know that they're going to buy on desktop, then the Messenger ads should be sent when they only see Facebook on desktop. And so you can get kind of complicated and like technical and nitty gritty with these things, but it's really important to know like your specific audience's behavior, and these are just tools. They're neutral. So you can use them to your advantage to influence them based on what they show you.
Right. I like that. Actually, David has a really great question here that I think will like help settle the thing for a lot of people. He's saying, Tam, how often do you see success with the massive complex ManyChat sequences that people are building versus the simpler uses of the platform, such as sending out valuable content a couple of times a week? And then how does your answer play into how you build out chatbots for your clients? So the first question is like, intricate multi-step bot funnel, complex based on behavioral type things versus just like, hey, let's use bot stuff to send out great content a few times a week and get them, just top of mind with our brand. And again, how would that build out, especially in your business where you guys actually build these out for clients? How does that affect how you kind of affect that with client work?
Definitely. Well, the very sad but true answer is that the more complex it is, the more technical it is, the better it will actually convert. Very similar to email. Like our email sequence or evergreen sequence or many other companies' evergreen sequences, they're very structured. So like if you don't watch like part 2 of this product launch formula, they send you another email to people who didn't open, and they send you a different email if you opened it but didn't click. So the more complicated you get, the better the conversions will be. Obvious, like if you have the time and effort to do all of that, of course.
Right.
But the 80-20 could be very simple. And I actually would recommend starting super small. The people who want advanced solutions usually just need a more simpler one.
Huh. Interesting. So if someone was just starting out, let's say, and they're building their first bot sequence, where would you suggest they kind of start this process? Would it be to, select a platform like ManyChat, do an ad that says comment to get blank and then just kind of drip feed someone something? Or what would you say is the best starting for people to just start to get comfortable with the bot process?
Definitely. Step one would be to set up the basics of the chatbot. So very similar to a website where you set up the basics of a menu, your URL, and your domain and stuff. You want to set up the very basics. That takes you about less than 30 minutes. So your main menu, your default reply, your messenger greeting, your welcome message, and we can get to tactical if you want to explain each of those. But start off with the very basics. And second is, what's the purpose of the chatbot? Now we're getting the strategy. How we like to think about it is, one, what's your business goal? Like what do you want to get out of the chatbot? And then two, what's your user's goal? Like what problem do you want them to solve? So for example, if you are a running company and you sell running shoes, you want to sell more running shoes or sell more running gear. And your users don't really care about your running gear right now. They actually care about what race should they run in? How can they prepare for the 5K, 10K, half marathon? Right. And so the sequence should be helping them like, hey, which race are you trying to run? And then they select the race and they might have a sequence for each of those answers saying, hey, if you want to run a marathon, here's the schedule you can do. Here's the diet plan you should do. Oh, by the way, we also sell running shoes. You can add that into the sequence. But it's less about your products and your business and more about helping them. And when you can align those business and users' goals together, that is when you can create a great marketing like strategy. So set up the basics, create a sequence that helps your users, and then obviously get people into the chatbot using the many growth ways of marketing.
Right. On that note, I actually have two questions. Number one, what is your opinion on utilizing like a chat bot subscription play on an opt-in page versus a give me your name and email in a traditional opt-in page? I noticed you guys do this. A couple other people do that where you literally like integrate rather than saying, hey, what's your name and email and how can I send you this lead magnet type of thing? Instead, it's, click this button to initiate a bot process. Do you have any opinions on that versus traditional opt-in and then like best use case scenarios for utilizing bots for opt-in plays?
Yeah. It's definitely more novel to have the messenger button, and it reduces less friction because all they need to do is click a button.
Right.
What we do actually is after they click the button, and later on in our sequence, we ask them for their email. So eventually we double dip into both of these.
Got it.
If you did it the reverse way, if people subscribe to your email where they're opening maybe 20% of the time and clicking like 4% of the time, they're less likely to click on your messenger. So you can't double dip in that area. Which is why we chose the messenger route, because we can get both. with a higher percentage of success rate. Whereas email we want to get one or the other.
Right. I like that. So you start with the least resistance, which is the bot play, and then later on down the sequence, you'll request an email to also build out that platform as well.
Yeah, definitely. And both of these are complementing each other. So it's not like Messenger will overtake email, email overtake Messenger. It's more like, hey, the more times you can touch, or like not touch, but reach out and talk to your audience,
right?
The more like you're top of mind, the more they trust you, and the more they remember you when they think about running shoes or Facebook ads.
Right. Love that. Actually, so I mean, everyone has the kind of percentages for email, and what I mean by that is like you should be giving content 80% of the time and selling 20% of the time, or whatever it be. And everyone has their own ratios. Have you found a specific ratio that you like? I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but a specific ratio that you like where how many, if you're touch pointing someone 3, 6, 9, 10, 12 times a month, let's call it, like 3 times a week, 12 times a month. What percentage of those touch points would you suggest is, hey, like this is a diet plan you should follow to prep for your next 5K, right? Yeah. Like content that doesn't really ask for anything versus if you're running your next 5K, these shoes are proven to work the best and they're, by all the top people, they're using that. Do you have a ratio that you like content versus kind of a sales message?
Definitely. And it all depends on like the product you're selling, how much the product is and so on. But I'll tell you something like super like new and like revolutionary not revolutionary, but sure. It's so mind blowing that you can use this information to sell the right offer at the right time. And there's this concept called lead scoring where if many people are familiar with it is, the more times you engage, the more your lead score goes up. And at a certain lead score, you sell a certain product.
Got it.
And within Messenger, you can do that where every time they engage with you in their button or whatever and so on, they might get a lead score of 10, for example. Then you can offer them like a $20 product. And the lead score is like 50, then you can offer them something different.
That's smart.
So it takes the guess power of like, oh, I don't know how often I should send a sales message every month. And it's more like, hey, how many times does that person actually engage?
Right. What's their score at?
Yeah. And we were going to do an article on that. But if you look up Social Media Examiner, lead scoring messenger chatbots by Dana Tran, Dana Tran. She wrote a fantastic article on that gets kind of complicated. If you're new to chatbots, I wouldn't even touch it. But if you want to get later, like more advanced and see the magic, you can be like, wow, that's like kind of crazy.
Interesting. I really like that concept. So that really eliminates any guesswork on like content today or sales message today. It's like, hey, if you have a score of X, you're going to see an offer for this level of a product. If you have a score of whatever, you might be invited to a higher level product. I love that. That's fantastic. Amanda's asking, beyond the basics, what bot building skills or knowledge do you think a good bot builder needs? And one of the examples is like, should they be familiar with, Zapier integrations, or should they be familiar with, some of the higher level stuff that maybe the basic person might not know? Yeah.
The basic or the beyond the basics is being able to learn other softwares quickly and, like you don't have to be a Zapier expert, but I didn't know anything about Zapier before I started. Sure. And I can just run with it and play around with it and just get the new technology because it's all like a logic puzzle in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
So being able to learn quickly, having an understanding of marketing and just basic technology.
Yeah.
People come into here with chatbots and they are learning for the first time, but they have no experience in marketing or psychology or sales or building relationships or, like the concept of like give, then like ask, that kind of concept. So, understanding marketing / sales on a high level and also being able to learn quickly on these new things that happen. And one last point is being able to handle what comes back at you. So the Facebook ban, for example, who pauses all the chatbots. Are you going to be the one that freaks out? Or are you going to be the one that says, hey, logically, like, messages are going to be around. Right. Let's not freak out and let's do whatever we can control right now to keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's an excellent point because even on my end, I mean, a lot of people are starting to write to me like after the whole Cambridge Analytica thing happened, they're like, is Facebook ads even going to exist? And is it still going to be a viable solution? And then after that, with partner categories disappearing, everyone's freaking out. They're like, well, what do you mean I can't? And the reality is like, 80% of the people don't even use partner categories when they're targeting anyways, but now they're thinking, oh my God, it's the end of the world. So that's a great point. I think mindset is just as important as understanding the tactical, technical side of a platform. That's a great point. Camila's asking, this kind of now back to the basic side of things. Camila's asking, after someone subscribes to a bot to receive a lead magnet, what is a good time frame before you ask for their email? Because I think he heard you said we first get them to subscribe to our bot and then we ask for the email. So what's that time frame? And then B, actually practically, how do you do it? It sounds like there are some integrations now where someone could type it in and it automatically does it with Zapier. But what's a good time frame that you like to leave there? And then how would one practically set that up so that they can actually acquire the email address onto their CRM?
Yeah. Really good questions. Practically, I have a free tutorial on our Bot Academy blog. I can definitely link it to you, and you can link it to your group.
Beautiful. Yeah.
To do it. The technical stuff is not that hard, but the time frame question is a very good one. There's many mixed responses. Like some people like to ask it immediately because they think, because they're on the page, they might as well do more actions while they're on there. Contrary to popular belief that we should give people time to wait. And I've seen many good results with that way as well. But also some people like to take the approach of hey, let's ask it later on in the messenger bot sequence because they want to filter the email list even more. They don't want anyone signing up for the email list. They want people who are engaged with their content in order to be on their email list. So I've seen it go both ways. There are no one right answer. There are many right answers. And I would honestly experiment with your audience and what your products are.
That's a great point. Yeah. And I think that's the general rule of all things marketing is that there isn't one perfect answer. And a lot of it will just come down to right for the audience and right for you after some testing. Amanda, obviously an advanced bot user here asking, comment triggers with opt-in message versus using, ref URLs, directly to a flow. Are we going to get in hot water for not having a clear opt-in message using the latter?
So to give everyone context, a ref URL is when you have m.me/your Facebook page, and the referral link is a special link just for people who click on those links. Maybe you go after on a podcast interview and you say, hey, subscribe here. So everyone who clicks that link came from that podcast and you can see on the back end. And so Amanda's asking hey, if you click that link, we don't give them an opt-in message. What's up with that? And if that's the case, I would actually, the ref URL looks very good in theory, but it's actually only really good for people who are already subscribed. So unfortunately, when that's the most buggiest growth tool, because when people click it normally, and they have never been subscribed to the chatbot at all, they actually get back to the get started page, which is what you normally see when you first go on a chatbot. So they actually won't get the message right away that the ref URL sends. They'll get to the get started page. So I actually would only use that.
That's like a cliffhanger there. Only use that when blank. Tim, we lost a little bit. Things froze up a little bit. So if you need to refresh, go ahead and do that. Amanda, obviously, deep in the chat bot game. Love that. And while Tim is coming back, we have about 8 minutes left on this Be Live. First and foremost, let me apologize on the bugginess of Be Live. I'm glad you could see the questions as I post them because I certainly can't. And there's a lot of stuff. Amanda's like, cliffhanger, Tam, you left me hanging. And that's the end of the Be Live. Actually, Tam, we just lost you one more time. It's frozen there. So hopefully we'll get you back as you come. And Tam will answer that. We have about 8 minutes left in this Be Live. So let me again say apologies for any of the tech hiccups. This is the first time Be Live has kind of really let me down on that. I don't understand what's going on there. If you have any final questions, go ahead and ask them in the Be Live and we'll wrap it up in about 8 minutes. Now it's 7 minutes. That cliffhanger. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of it.
Nice. I'm sorry for the Wi-Fi connection. I'm sorry about that.
No, not at all.
So you should only use it when people are already subscribed to your chatbot. That'd be the most effective way. And actually, when people click your ref URL, they actually do get a message that you could send them immediately when they click. You could do an opt-in message where you can say, hey, do you want this? Click yes. But obviously, if they're already subscribed to your chatbot, you can send them information immediately. I would actually not use it for new subscribers, and that opt-in message would not even occur anymore.
That's a great point. So I just let everybody know that we have like
7 minutes.
A few more minutes here. So if anyone has any final questions, go ahead and ask them. In the meantime, Tim, there was a question earlier that I purposely waited until now to post. Let me see if I can find it. But obviously, this is a hot topic. Obviously, people who are using bots like Amanda are able to get their questions answered directly and start implementing. But for the person who's new, they might be looking at this and frankly like, man, I'm lost. Like, it's so much to get started in. I really don't know. What would you suggest is the next step for them? And even if that means, and again, we're not big on heavy sales here or anything, but even if that means like getting Bot Academy training or some other step to get there, like what do you suggest for the person who is just starting out right now? Like how do they get going? Like where's the best place to start? Is it to work with getting trained themselves with, through Bot Academy? Is it hiring a Bot Academy graduate certified partner who's going to be able to do this kind of thing? Like really, where's the starting point for a lot of people here?
No, definitely. You can also definitely join Bot Academy. We teach you A to Z on how to do this. You can also hire one of our graduates if you don't want to learn how to do this at all and just have someone professional just like run it, which is totally fine. For those who do want to get training and don't want to invest a little.
Damn, we lost you. You know what's funny though?
Oh, there you are.
Oh, there you are. You're back.
You can definitely. Oh, go for it.
Well, Bethany was just saying someone is uploading 100 gigabyte of family movies at the co-working space.
Possibly. This has never happened. So I'm sorry about this. Maybe my Wi-Fi or Be Live. But we do have a free page called botacademy.com/start-here. I can send that to you after the interview as well. Sure, but it literally has like for first people who are just getting new to chatbots, like an A to Z guide of like, hey, here's the very basics. Here's like basic and here's like advanced stuff that you can explore. And so I would subscribe to chatbots and see how they work and see how you react to it. To be
do you like the Golden State Warriors as one of them to like just get a feel for someone who's doing it right? Yeah,
Golden State Warriors is great. You can even look at the marketers like Tim Ferriss and Seth Godin who are also doing this. Or John Lee. A lot of marketers in our space.
Right.
You can look at like actual brands. Like 800 Flowers, Fandango, and so on. Really big brands are already on this. And see it as a user, and also that page that we'll send you, the botacademy.com/start-here, will show you like tutorials on how to get started for your own chatbot, how to think about strategy, and then more advanced things later on.
Right. One last question from Amanda, just before we kind of wrap this all up. It says, okay, one last one. Facebook JSON ads. Any major hiccups or challenges that you know of?
Yes. So JSON ads, for context, is actually you know the Facebook ads better than I do.
Sure.
So you can use JSON code within the chatbot platforms to put it on Messenger or the Facebook ads to connect it to Messenger. And there are some things you can't do. Like, for example, they won't let you have emojis on this, on this method.
Right.
And they have a character limit of I believe, 150. So when you might have errors sending your Facebook ads, those errors might come up, and it's probably because of the character limit, or also you're using emojis.
Got it. Good to know. You have time for a couple more here?
Of course.
That just came in. David was asking, I was wondering if you could give an example of an e-commerce store who's doing a great job with chatbots. Anyone that we could follow in the e-commerce space that's doing a good job there. I know you mentioned 1-800-Flowers. Anything else that kind of come to mind?
Yeah. There's this company called that I created actually called Four Sigmatic. They're a mushroom coffee.
I just drank my Four Sigmatic this morning.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Well, I built that, so you can be the judge of whether or not it got I can't actually say the numbers, but a very positive ROI on the campaign. So that was really good. Ezra Firestone is really big in e-commerce, and he runs a lot of these messenger ads with his companies. Check out Boom by Cindy Joseph. It's a makeup, I think, or like some skincare products for like older women. So even if you're not in that demographic, you can still learn like how they do
the interactions.
Yeah.
Nice. And then lastly, and then I think there's a question coming from an agency kind of perspective. He says, I know this is a broad question Camilo was asking, but could you give us some guidelines on how to price a bot and how interactive it should be and whatnot? So let's say someone is offering this as a service, because we've got a lot of freelancers and agency people in here. And maybe they want to offer a bot building service as part of their Facebook ads platform. Just some guidelines, not necessarily numbers, but some guidelines on how you might price doing this for somebody.
Oh, definitely. This is exactly what we teach in Bot Academy of
awesome.
How people create these bot agencies. One, you charge for two things. One is a setup, so setup fee, and also for the monthly maintenance fee of all the things that happen as your bot goes on. And we usually recommend students to start off with like $1,000 setup fee and a $250 maintenance fee. The setup fee includes everything from setting up the basics, main menu, messenger greeting, default reply, welcome message. It starts off with building a sequence for them, a full-out sequence of helping their users solve some problem that helps the business goal.
Right.
And then letting that run through. And the monthly maintenance is okay, after you build that, who's going to maintain it? Who's going to tell you the numbers? Who's going to improve it? Who's going to add more growth tools to it? And who's going to tag everything so that it's so the admin knows exactly the user's behaviors. Right. Who's going to add lead scoring just came out very recently. Who's going to know that it came out and then implement it for your business? That's where the monthly maintenance comes in.
Got it.
You are the go-to expert for messenger marketing.
Got it. Love that. Two other questions, Tam. I'm sorry, man. They just keep coming in now. Ashley's asking, oh, yes. Do you have any examples of bots for customer service related issues that are really killing it that we should take note of? Like who's using bots for customer service that we should pay attention to?
I don't actually know of a really good bot using for customer service. We mainly work with entrepreneurs who do that for sales and marketing.
Right.
But if you want to do it for customer service, I highly recommend using the notify admin feature so that when someone has a question, then you could notify the customer service rep so they can come on in immediately.
Love that. And then lastly, Kyle's saying, how do you deal with every bot message showing up as a new message within Facebook Messenger inbox? What's the way kind of around that and getting it into kind of the main message there?
Yeah. If you use certain softwares like ManyChat, for example, they have very awesome features where you can open and close certain messages. So it makes it very easy to manage your inbox. But unfortunately, you're going to get a lot of messages if you send thousands or tens of thousands or even more a day. And that's just the harsh reality that they have not solved yet and they have not prioritized. But that's a good problem to have. Too many people messaging you. So
then not enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Tam, I totally appreciate your time, man. I know bots are something that we don't even deploy all that often. I know we were having some initial conversations about me kind of jumping on the bandwagon, but the fact that you're here giving us your time and really walking through that process. I guess at the end, I know you gave that link, but one more time, the link for people to kind of get started to see the basics and to figure out if Bot Academy might be something that they want to kind of engage with you. What's that URL there?
Yeah, it is botacademy.com/start-here.
Awesome.
And if you Google search Bot Academy, collect email addresses on Messenger, you'll find a free tutorial on how to collect email.
Awesome. Well, I love that. Already the thank yous are coming in. Everybody, if you're still here, go ahead and give a little love to Tam for being here and giving us that information. Thank you. Amanda says, this has been incredible. Bethany says, thank you. Yeah, man, I just want to say thank you on behalf of the council and everyone here for just kind of diving this into unveiling Pandora's box on one hand, but on the other hand, being really practical and clear about letting us know what some easy next steps are. Ashley says, thank you. Also sent that blog post out there, botacademy.com. In fact, all things are Bot Academy that you guys do, so you can kind of look it up there. David says, thanks, Tam. This was awesome. Kyle says, thanks, dude. Great job, and thanks for hanging in there through the glitches. No, thank you guys for hanging in through the glitches. We are blaming Wi-Fi connections and BeLive because this never happens ever. But the fact that you guys are still here making this happen, I appreciate that. So thanks for sticking it through. Everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I appreciate you guys. I'm so glad that you're part of the council. I trust this was as beneficial for you as it was for me. And again, if you want to kind of explore this further, I've done my due diligence. I've done my research. I've talked to a lot of great guys. And Tam is cut above the rest. Bot Academy really is a great company, and we're in full transparency. We are looking to engage them for some of the stuff that we do. So just passing it on to you. But everyone, have a great and wonderful day. Thanks for sticking this through. We'll see you guys on the next AMA. Thanks so much, everyone.
Cheers.